Hey, everybody, I have a special interview today on the Dream Printing Podcast. I'm interviewing Melissa Bautista, who is the creator of this Move with Purpose fitness journal. She's the founder of Mela Vie, and this conversation is so amazing. If you have ever struggled with body image or had a really weird relationship with exercising and movement in your body, this episode is really going to bless you. And if you've ever been interested in creating your own paper product, Melissa shares her entire story. So we're going to talk about how she published it, launched it, and really her dream of taking her idea from dream to reality. So let's dive into today's episode. Hi, Melissa. Welcome to the show. I am so excited to have this conversation with you. Melissa is an incredible print school student, and we've become friends through that process. And she launched her beautiful Move with Purpose journal. It's a fitness journal. I guess that was in 2023.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes,
I
it
think you
was.
got it in the Christmas of 2022, I want to say.
Yes, I got the sample around Christmas, and then I officially did like the first run deposit like in February. So yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
purchased school in 2022. This summer will be almost 2 years, which is crazy.
it is crazy. But yeah, I've loved watching your journey. I have the journal. So if you're listening to this episode and you want to come check out her product, head over to horacioprinting.com/YouTube to watch this episode. But I'm so excited to have this conversation with you, Melissa. Tell everybody on the podcast a little bit about Melissa.
Okay, so a little bit about me. I am an occupational therapist during the day, and then I do this, on my free time and on the side. And I live in Orlando, Florida. And honestly, like many millions of women out there, I've always been a person who has struggled with her body image, with her weight, and I struggled with comparison. And I would always compare myself to the women around me, to the models that I see on TV. And through the years, I just developed a very toxic relationship with, my body and how I viewed exercise. For me, exercise was like a form of punishment for myself because I didn't really measure up or I didn't look like how I thought I was supposed to. And I would go through these cycles of like overeating and undereating and exercising excessively to like not moving for months. And I would shame myself for just like falling off and not being able to stay consistent. And I rode this health like a seesaw. And I would always wonder, why am I not changing? And it honestly wasn't until I read this verse in the Bible from First Corinthians that basically states like, did you know that you are the temple of God, that the Spirit of God dwells within you? And this was the first time that I heard my body being referred to as a temple. And it came out of shock to me because I never thought my body was like a temple. I didn't want my body. I wanted a different person's body, a different shape and size. And I tried so hard to change it and to separate who I was from my body. But then I realized that like your body and your spirit and your mind are interconnected. So you can't hate your body and then love your mind because they go hand in hand, you know? And your body is this beautiful place, this vessel, this home that you get to experience your life, where you get to love on your kids and your significant other, where you get to, live out your dreams and pursue your purposes. And it wasn't until I changed my mindset that everything for me changed, that I became more consistent. And, exercise was no longer a form of punishment, but more so a way of celebrating my body for all that it could do, and it was a way of investing in my body so that way I can continue to show up and be the woman that God had created me to be, and it was really from this place that thoughts of creating a mindful fitness journal came from. I was on this journey of like loving and accepting my body, And I was like reading all these books and listening to all these podcasts, and I was pulling together all these different things that I was like learning. And I wanted to create this fitness journal where not only can you, record your exercises and however you're moving that day in one place, but every week you're showing up and you're reframing your mindset and your relationship with your exercise and just healthy living in general. Sorry, that was like a rant.
No, I love it. It's so good. I had chills. I know I was thinking about, you're saying it's difficult, the comparison, especially when you live in Florida and it's like always bathing suit season and it's always like everyone's got their arms out and their legs out and like um that's tricky. I lived in Orlando for a little bit too, and it's just perpetual summer pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think we can all relate to that feeling of comparison and struggling with our bodies and accepting our bodies for what they are in the season that we're in. I've felt the same way about exercise being a punishment or kind of just self-loathing on yourself and how detrimental that is to all parts of you. I love your mission with this journal, and I got to watch you create the whole thing in print school. So tell us a little bit about what's inside the journal and like what your hope is for the women that use it.
Yeah. So the journal, I have it here too as well, but it is made of vegan leather and it
It's so
has gold
nice.
foil.
It's so
And
pretty.
there's a bookmark where you can kind of like track where you are in the journal. But the way that the journal is set up is that it's built like a guided journal, but then also like a fitness tracker.
Hmm.
So it's a 12-week fitness journal, and every week there will be a chapter. There you go. A short chapter with like a quote and a few paragraphs that will help you start thinking about what your relationship with your body is currently and how you can start reframing your relationship with what exercise means, with what your body means. So that way, when you are showing up, you're doing it from a place of like love and not from a place of hate. Now, it's over the course of 12 weeks, so it's not supposed to just happen like overnight. And after the chapter, you'll have about 5 days worth of like a movement log. And every day will begin with a gratitude, what your intention is that day, a small little like grid where you could write your exercises and whatever you're doing, a cardio section, however you decide to move. This is basically the space where you will write what you're moving. And
Hmm.
there's space that
The
you,
daily page.
yeah, daily pace, exactly. And you can write like what went well, what your wins were, so you can celebrate just that you showed up.
Hmm.
Then that will happen for 5 days. And then the week will end with a reflection page. Now, the reflection page is just a few questions that where you can just sit back and reflect on what went well, what didn't go well, and just how you can better show up the following week. It's really supposed to help you mindfully go through this journey. So that is
And
it.
this is what it
And then
looks like
I'll
at the
start.
beginning of the week to plan it out. I'll be the Vanna White of the.
Oh, thank you. And then there is like a weekly schedule where you can actually just like write down, okay, Monday I'm gonna do legs, or Tuesday I'm gonna do yoga, or Wednesday I'm gonna do Pilates, like
That's your
however you decide to
intention.
do, like you could actually write down what your intentions are for that week so that there's like a place for you to like put everything on,
And there's
you know.
so much goodness in the front, which is explaining all of this. Like you've got examples of what it looks like filled out. Like it really takes the guesswork out of it. It's very, very guided.
Yeah.
It's not it's not confusing at all. And it's so beautiful. It's small, it's compact. So tell me what it's like now that you've launched this and people are actually using it. What do you feel in your spirit when you see somebody using this in the wild?
Yeah. Oh my God. It's still like surreal. I feel like when I first launched it, a lot of the people who bought it were like family members and friends. And I'm like, yay. But then, like, the first time somebody random from California got it, I'm like, how did they find me? I'm like, wow. And it's just like, you never think it's going to happen until it does. And you're just, wow, like a random person found my journal and purchased it, and now they're out there using it. So I feel like it's definitely a surreal feeling. It's something that you always dreamed about, and then all of a sudden when it happens, you're like, ah. And I feel so much gratitude. And I'm constantly praying for the people who are using it. Just like I hope, they're actually using it and that they're finding freedom in their bodies and they're learning how to love themselves again and learn how to fall in love with movement, just in general. So
That's so good. So, what was your experience like going through the print school program of like getting this idea out of your head? Like, was it harder than you thought? Was it going to be easier than you thought? Like, how did that feel?
yeah. I feel like when I first started the program, I think in your mind, you always think, oh, in 2 months I'll be done and everything will be, but it's actually like with anything when it comes to like printing and working with like designers and other people, you know, you can do all that you're supposed to do, but you still have to kind of wait for like the
Mhm.
designer and wait for like the print. So it actually takes a little bit longer than what you initially think it's going to take, which I
Yep.
think, Polly, you do a great job at like telling people like, hey, this is not something you could do in a month and then have your journal like, right here. Um, so I think it took a little bit longer than expected, but for a good reason, because you don't want to rush anything, then all of a sudden spend all this money and it not be excellent, it not be what you envisioned it will be. So it took longer than expected, but for a good reason. But I do feel like the best part of print school is honestly like the community. Like throughout the program, I would talk to a few other, girls who were doing their planners or their devotionals. And like to this day, it's been like 2 years, and we still are on Instagram and liking each other's stuff and supporting each other and just like, oh my God, this year, like you came out with this. And it's just like a great uh feeling to know that you have other people that kind of like you started the journey with, and then you finish it, and then you see each other doing your own thing and you're like, oh my God, so that's great. And I think what's awesome about your program too is even afterwards, I get a lot of messages from people considering print school and people who are currently in the program just asking for advice and asking for feedback. And I always encourage that. And that I find very rewarding too, to see people who are like alumni, or who are currently in the program and they just like want advice and they just want like guidance through the program. And then seeing them actually complete it afterwards, it's like I'm a proud parent. I'm like, oh my God,
Mhm.
you
I
know?
know. Yeah, they're all like these are all like my grandbaby products for sure.
Yeah.
And the program is 2 years now. So when someone enrolls, and some people look at that and go, oh gosh, it's going to take 2 years. And it's like, no, it's not going to take you 2 years, but I want you to feel so supported in
Mhm.
your journey. Like let's say it takes you 9 months to get there or a year if you want to take your time or, things happen, life happens. You just got married 2 months ago. Life has been happening for you. Things get pushed back with our dreams sometimes, but I want someone to feel so supported through that, and even after launch, like, hey, I need more marketing ideas, or I think I want to do this partnership. What's your, advice on
Mhm.
that? So I definitely want people to feel super supported.
Yeah. Like when I first signed up for print school, it was like your first, iteration. So it was only print school, and I had launched it and everything. And then you came out with launch school. And even now, I mean, I launched it last year and I'm still going back and being, I'm still like, okay, what did Polly say about this? Or is there a new marketing strategy? So it's something that even though I quote unquote completed it, I'm still going back and looking for more stuff and looking for more ideas and
Hmm.
inspiration. So it's honestly been like such a great tool just to have all the time because I'm constantly going back to it.
Yay, that's awesome. So I think this journal honestly is for everyone. It's for women, right, mostly, but this is really for everyone. And so tell everybody where they can go grab their stunning copy of the Mela Vie is your brand name, which by the way, tell me the story
Like the
behind
meaning
that.
behind it. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. So I remember I was like looking through like your video and like choose a name. And I'm like, God, I don't know what name. But so Mela is my nickname, my family nickname. Everyone calls me Mela, but I wanted to play around with it as like an acronym. So Mela actually stands for movement, which, I wanted to get away from the word exercise because people tend to have like a negative
Yeah.
relationship with exercise, but movement could hold so many forms. And if one movement doesn't work for you, it doesn't mean that you should just stop moving. You should just
Mhm.
something else that you enjoy. So really encouraging movement of any form. So movement, empowerment because everything that I do, I want to empower people with mindset and movement resources so they could actually build a body that feels like home, that you actually come home and feel like this is where I get to live. Um, the L stands for love, loving yourself, loving others, and loving God. And then A stands for affirm, affirming who you want to become, who God has made you to become. And then V is like a French word for life and just like living your life
Values.
with these values, movement, empowerment, love, and
That
affirming.
is so cool. I love that your company name is just like wrapped in the values. That is so rich, so
Thank you.
thoughtful. I love that. So tell everybody what website to go to, and we'll drop the link below as well.
Yes. The website is www.themelavie.com. And if anybody is interested in purchasing, and I am going to give everybody in print school 20% off. Okay, so the code for that will be print school 20. Okay, so if anybody has any questions or just want to take a look at it for either yourself or a friend, that code is there for you.
Yay, wonderful. And what's your Instagram in case people want to connect with you there?
Yeah, my Instagram name is at the Mela Vie. So actually the same handle, the Mela Vie.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yay. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. I hope everyone grabs their Move with Purpose journal.
Mhm.
It's also a great Christmas gift or a birthday gift. And you guys all have like that yogi in your life or the fitness person or somebody, you know, get a buddy, get one, buy two. Will you for you and a friend, when you're committing to your summer bod or whatever it is. It's always fun to have like a accountability buddy. So grab more than one.
Thank you. I did want to end with like a little message for your audience, if you don't
Yeah,
mind.
go ahead. Of course.
And it is something that I keep thinking about, but obviously you're here because God put a dream on your heart for a reason. And maybe it seems too big or too scary, and that's usually because it is, but it's because you weren't supposed to do it alone. God will guide you, and He's put people like Polly in your life to help you with that. And I know you have your doubts. I even myself still have doubts every single day. But, you're asking yourself, like, what if you fail? What if it doesn't work out? But honestly, what if it does? And I realize that life is too short. And I think spending any second not putting pen to paper, not pursuing this dream on your heart is time wasted. And you'll never regret taking chances or being obedient because what I've learned is that obedience always yields a reward, whether it's through lessons or actual like success. So just if you're considering it, take the chance. This is your time.
I love that. Thank you, Melissa. I appreciate that. Oh, that gives me chills. It's so fun. My big dream and my big purpose is to help people pursue their dreams. And it's so fun to be swimming in this lane of people who have a dream to make a paper product because I feel like that's the best thing I can teach because I know it the most. Like there's so many things I'm not qualified to teach, but I feel like that is my lane. And it's been so fun swimming in this lane and helping people like you create your ripples in the world and your impact in the world. And I just pray for you and for your business and for your success and growth this year. And again, everybody go grab Melissa's journal. She's amazing. Make sure you connect with her and come join Print School because that is where you're going to get to connect with these incredible people. Have a wonderful day. You guys are so loved.
You.